Well, first of all, congratulations on Critics' Choice. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, and I just really love this movie. Like, not to sound super cliche or super cheesy, but like, I sort of like bulk it like the films we need right now. I feel like we've been saying that for 5 years, ever since like the pandemic hit. But I don't know. It's just I love spending time in this town with these people, with Jonathan. There's just a lot of positivity around this. And it's just something about helping people. I don't know, just it hit me really hard. I've seen the movie a couple of times, and I just really responded to long roundabout way. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I guess I wanted to know, in a general sense, how did you meet Jonathan? What was that like? What was the approach like? I'm just very curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start that off because Jonathan, I've known Jonathan for quite a long time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so Julie Spiller is my aunt.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've known Jonathan since Julie met Jonathan. I was a child at that point.
Hmm.
Uh, and so it wasn't like I spent a ton of time around Jonathan, but oh, the stories that she would tell me, they were so good over the years. I mean, Jonathan, he's a staple in that community. He's so revered and everybody loves him, including Julie. She might love him second most to his own mother.
Hmm.
But they became best friends, and you see that in the film, and
Yeah.
that's kind of told in the film how they met. It's such a funny story, and it's a true story. It's a wild one, but that's just some of the weirdness that happens in the suburbs of Chicago, like right there in
Hmm.
Glen Ellen. They just have weird little moments like that, where Julie was in trouble and Jonathan was there to help. And he did truly just step in and be her Superman in that moment.
Hmm.
But no, I that's how I know Jonathan. And Sam and I, we started our filmmaking journeys both in high school. We met in high school. He was my older brother's age. They did the morning announcements together.
Okay.
Sam would get rides home from school, and that's where we initially met. And then when I had a documentary idea, I approached Sam because he was the only person I knew that did video, and I was a photographer then. So
Mm.
me and Sam met, and so we've told stories together for years, and this was one that he always insisted that I do
Mm.
and that we do together. And it was just really hard timing wise to. I'm a perfectionist. I have a hard time just like winging it.
Yeah.
Uh, but ultimately, what ended up happening was Julie said, "Hey, the parade route's different this year. I don't know how it's going to go. Come up. Let's just start. You can start shooting. Jonathan's kind of he's kind of ready. He's never going to be fully ready or prepared, but that's ultimately what happened. We just went and did it. This was really only a 2-day shoot with
Wow,
about a
really?
half day
Oh, wow.
pickups. So July 3rd and July 4th were the principal photography days, and then I went back up after we had an edit
Yeah.
and shot some pickups with Jonathan. Um,
Okay.
but really, it was about a 3-day shoot in total. 2 really long days and then 1 half day. So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a long-winded answer,
No,
but hopefully answered a couple questions.
we love
Sam
long.
gets when I talk too much.
No, I try to just keep him cognizant of it.
I
I
know
just
I've
see you
got.
like crushing a plastic cup in the background. That's all. No.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
Yeah.
got a stress ball in his hand.
No. No. So I guess a sort of like different question then, since I didn't know that you knew him for so long. Is there any sort of trepidation with telling a story about somebody that you know?
Yeah, it was critical for Sam and I both to tell the truest story and it's a 10-minute film, and so you only
Yeah.
have so much time, and there's so many parts of Jonathan and who he is, as an individual, as a member of society, as a friend. There's so many little pieces that, obviously you can't tell everything about a person in 10 minutes, but we hope that we got across, who Jonathan is, at the root, um, as best as we possibly could within 10 minutes. Does he deserve an hour and a half? Of course.
Sure.
He's a hobby. I don't even know what he would technically call it. He would correct me if he were here, but he's not a hobbyist
Yeah.
rocket uh, connoisseur. I don't know what you call him, but he makes rockets. He like competes in like rocket ship competitions where they launch these crazy rockets.
Yeah.
Play so many instruments. He can, he's an interesting person. And yeah, and yeah, remind me what the question was again. I'm rambling.
Was there any trepidations?
Yeah, trepidation with
Yeah.
telling us, or responsibility with someone that you know. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, you definitely feel like a a big responsibility not to mess that one up. But we have Julie in our corner, and she's attached to the project as a producer as well, being a subject. And Julie, has done a wonderful job just at keeping us honest, truly. But Sam, I'll let you take it away.
I mean, I don't know if I can add. I think I don't know if there's much for me to add to that. I think you did a good job. What's ready for the next question?
Next one's for Sam. Make it a Sam focused question.
That's fine.
Oh, I did actually want to ask about a little bit of a visual choice. I don't know if this is just purely accidental and you guys ran with it, but I mean, like or I don't know why the color red just really sticks out to me. Obviously, the cape of Superman, but I mean, the last time that I watched it, I don't know, I was struck by the kind of, the fireworks at the beginning are red. Obviously, you can't play on the fireworks unless you can tell me otherwise. But I don't know. There is such a I'm not going to articulate this correctly, but there is sort of like an almost like all American celebratory feeling right from the very first frame of it. And I guess I wanted to ask about like some visual choices because that kind of hero that we, God, I can't talk. The kind of hero that we associate with Superman, the ideal of Superman, I feel like is very much visually represented in the movie too. So I guess I just want to ask about visual cues.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I can talk more about the intentionality behind that. Sure. I feel like it's like the way
Sam would be good for that. I personally, I wasn't, it was 4th of July, so everything I was shooting was red, white, and blue. But yeah, sure. Sam.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's okay. Like a lot of it is serendipitous because it was 4th of July, but also Jonathan's outfit does have red, so like there is that correspondence between the two. But I mean, I think if we're talking like intentionality, being in the Midwest, we bleed our culture where it really much so is embedded with like this the identity of being American, right? Like and I that like politics has made it so divisive where it's so politicized, but like that's not even what it's about. Like we love where we're from, we identify with our culture as Midwesterners. I'm Iranian, like I call myself an Iranian Hoosier, so I really lean into my identity as this Indiana Midwestern, filmmaker, if you will. And I think, that's what makes filmmakers so great too. When you talk about films and stories on the West Coast and the East Coast, maybe they might not be as emblematic as this red, white, and blue, I guess visual element that you see within the film. So I think, like, it was really intentional too. You talked about the beginning. Like I remember when Adam and I were talking about this and seeing the material and really breathing with what we had. Like the biggest thing I learned with films and shorts in particular is you have to just get the person hooked like immediately, like within the first like 5 seconds. And the most impactful footage was just the loud bangs, right? Like the
Mhm.
loud, it just gets you. Like every time I keep going to screenings too, and we like play it in an audience, like we're the loudest film right out the gate, and like we don't do that on purpose, but it's just the fireworks, and so I think it just hooks you in. And then I really also wanted to be very like no linear, if you will, where
Mhm.
I wanted to make it this non-linear approach where the end of the film is the beginning, right? It's the fireworks. Nobody knows what that means, and then throughout the entire film, you see from morning, from sunrise to sunset, that the entire film linearly takes place on that 4th of July day while it's juxtaposing with Jonathan and his mom and Julie talking about his life. And
Mhm.
so I think, we got really lucky with it being 4th of July and his outfit for like the easy answer, but like there was intentionality and diligence when we crafted the story for sure.
I would say we could answer almost every one of your questions with we got extremely lucky. That would
Filmmaking,
probably
that's like filmmaking though, we always get
it
lucky.
truly, yeah, I mean the whole process truly was just like I mean it could have stormed that day. I always have to stop and remind myself on shoot days when we're having great success. I'm like it could have rained. But
That didn't even cross my mind. You have a movie that is about a very pivotal moment on an outdoor event, and it was like, well, if something like that happens, the whole thing that you guys have been working for is
Just
like
done.
just done. It was like, all right, next year, here we
yeah,
go.
no, and that's seriously like the what's so like kismet about this whole thing is that it was something that we were actively working towards, but
Mm-hmm.
that is ultimately like kind of how it goes. And how it would have gone is it would have been like, okay, we'll try again next year, but next year might not have been the perfect moment. It
Yeah.
might have been the perfect time. Jonathan might not have wanted to do it at that point. He may have,
Mm-hmm.
his mom might not have, there's so many factors. His mom might not have been interested. It just, it really, a lot of it does just come down to luck. And I'm not like a, religious person by any stretch, but, kind of like almost some spirituality. You feel
Yeah.
like definitely had those feelings the entire time. Those 2 crazy days filming, um, you know, just you feel like you're doing the where you're supposed to be and you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a feeling that I hope every filmmaker has felt and if not yet will feel, but you're doing the right thing when you can just feel it like through every cell of your body.
Yeah. Um, Sam, I have to say that I went to Indianapolis for the first time this summer to I had never been to indie shorts. I I was like, I live 2 hours away. Why haven't I not been there? I cover shorts for the site, and it was just like I I don't know if there's just like the natural cynicism of me. It's just I don't know coming out of me at all times, but the kind of like they kept saying Hoosier hospitality, and I was just like, oh, I don't think I didn't really understand it until I was like experiencing it. And that film festival, I will go there as many times as they tell me until they tell me to stop coming. But it was just I don't know, that whole atmosphere of being there and being around filmmakers that really just want to talk about their films and their creative process. It was like really sort of mind boggling to me in the best possible way.
Yeah. Should
Just
we
just sidebar.
yeah, should plug Greg Sorvig for a second if he's
We
Yes.
love Greg Sorvig.
Yeah.
uh,
Big
yeah,
big shout out to Greg.
yeah,
That
Indie Shorts in Heartland, man, they're incredible.
yeah.
We've been lucky enough to play there quite a bit of times over the years. I've had Little Warriors,
Mm,
Destination Park, Sunny, Safe Place, Greener Pasture. I've had
wow.
6 or 7 projects there over the last 6 or 7 years. We've won 3 or 4 times. Yeah, I mean we're homers for sure.
Yeah.
Greg's amazing. Indie Shorts, Heartland's amazing. Greg's it's actually funny. Greg texted me um, the other day after the Critics' Choice win. He was like, "Hey man, just want to wish you congratulations." And
Yeah.
It's awesome to see you come into your own where because for the first time when I did meet him, I was a senior in college and he was like,
Mm,
I remember meeting you for the first time, you were a student and now, 7, 8 years later you're here, so just enjoy the journey. And I was like, yeah, man, no, thanks so much for all your support and what you do and bring the visibility to indie. So it's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, they do a great job there. Very hospitable. Who's your
Uh,
hospitality?
Do you live in
mhm.
Ohio? Where do you live?
Columbus.
Columbus. Okay, right on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio?
Hmm.
Oh, I was just there like earlier this week. Well, I was in Lancaster, to be
Oh, okay.
fair. At a battle.
I thought you were gonna scream OH at me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm legally obligated to say the rest of it." So,
OH.
I know. See,
Go.
like a knee jerk reaction. Yeah, no, the at one point I was at like some party or some reception with Greg, and sorry, then I'll keep asking about your movie, but it was just like I was like, you are the nicest person I think I have quite literally ever met. And there was a one point where I was like, say something mean about anything. He's like, no, stop it.
Was he in his I know, which year did they have the like beach theme, Sam?
Wasn't that was that
I think it
was
was
that
last
last year?
year.
was Greg wearing his swim trunks when you told him he was the nicest guy?
Wait, Joey, were you there when
Oh, this
we?
past year. No, I was. It was construction themed this year. They're
That's
little
right.
Oh,
hammer,
that's right.
little hammer
That's
pens.
right.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah, because I wasn't able to go. Somebody brought me one of the rulers.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I have one of those somewhere. Yeah. Um, I did want to ask quickly about Sandra. I like that she begins the film. For some reason, just her saying, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my son is such a. I feel like we lean in a little more when, I don't know, we can hear a mom talking about her kid. And I guess I just wanted to know, especially now that I know that you know her so well, or know the family so well, that I was just wondering what was it like to spend time with her, especially since we see her mainly by herself talking to the camera.
Can I answer this one, Sam? Because my reaction as soon as
I'll
she
add
opened
on.
her mouth was um so she, was doing the whole thing that a lot of interview subjects do. Oh, I'm no good at this. I've never done this. Like, good luck making me look pretty and make me look 10 years younger. And she was just blowing smoke. Because
Mm-hmm.
as soon as she sat down and had the room and had the opportunity to speak about her her son, her experience raising Jonathan,
Mm-hmm.
my I mean, I was just like, that was such an overwhelming feeling of just like, you get goosebumps. You can't believe what's happening in that moment. You can't believe what you're capturing.
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea how it was going to go
Yeah.
when we initially wanted to film at her home. That we had to pivot last second. We had to film at Julie's, which
Mm-hmm.
luckily she's like an interior designer and owns the Gather and Collect store, which is a super adorable store in Glen Ellen. If anybody gets a chance to stop in there, Gather and Collect. It's on Main Street. Um, and so her home is gorgeous anywhere you look. And so I was like, I can make any of this work. It's great. It's
Mm-hmm.
easier this way, anyways. But as soon as she spoke, and those were the first words that she said on camera were,
Really.
"I'd like to tell you a little bit about my son Jonathan." And I was just like, "You got to be shitting me!" But it was so exciting that she just fell right into it and just became so comfortable so fast. And
Mm.
Julie was such a help with the interview process because we didn't have time to really prep notes. We didn't have time to like meet with Jonathan or Sandra and really give them time to know what to expect.
Yeah.
It was all very last minute, and there were a lot of lights and cameras in their faces. And
Mm.
you know, as soon as Jonathan was there during his mother's interview, he watched the entire thing. Um, and he was uncertain whether he wanted to be interviewed that day either. We had planned we were gonna flip the room, shoot a different look.
Yeah.
And as soon as his mother was done, he sat down and said, "I'm ready."
Hmm.
And so he really warmed up watching his mom talk about, um, their lives together. And just an unbelievable woman with so many stories beyond what you see in the film. I mean, it barely scratches the surface.
Yeah.
This woman, she grew up in Scotland during the war.
Wow.
There were bombs raining down, while she's walking home from school. Then she, moved to Australia and was a ballerina and was a professional ballerina that traveled, made it to the States. And I mean, just so much travel, so much has happened in that woman's life. And then to, have Jonathan and face so much adversity. And she has
Hmm.
other children as well. Jonathan's not her only child. Uh, and I mean, just to hear it all firsthand is unbelievable. I wish I could just it'd be like therapy to be able to sit down and speak with her
Mm.
just once a week. Her voice, her mannerisms, everything about her is just like uh, it's it just gives you this really deep, visceral feeling like you're safe. And it's kind of what she did for Jonathan his whole life. She shielded him and she protected him and she made sure that he could live a successful, happy life, which he has. So she
Yeah.
succeeded at that.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's like the steadiness in her voice or the sort of assured way that she begins the film to the way that she speaks to the camera that I I don't know, it's like that thing when a viewer really connects with someone in the movie, like a real life person in a movie. And it's sort of like, oh wow, if I would ever be lucky enough to like run into that person, I would feel bad that I would just be asking question after question. I would be like, tell me about, I don't know. She's just like the type of person that I just really enjoyed listening to. Um, and I got that from like immediately from the first time that we see her talk, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
it's interesting. Like I feel like from time to time when you work on projects, we had this experience with my feature that Adam and I worked on together. It's called Greener Pastures. We followed
Mm-hmm.
four farm families for 5 years, and the one of the farmers' dads was very similar
Yeah.
to Sandra, where he almost spoke in like a soliloquy, the way
Yeah.
his
Mm.
cadence was. And so again, he was in Ohio, actually, Adena, close to the Appalachian area. And so the Midwest is just full of these artful speaking individuals. But like every now and then you'll come across these different walks of lives of people and just the way they speak and communicate. And I've noticed, I feel like with the older generation, it's usually tends to be the more interesting, more cinematic people. Because Jay's dad was probably close to probably like 10 or 15 years younger than Sandra. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just like this beautiful like delivery and the way they communicate. And you kind of just, as a filmmaker, as a doc filmmaker, nonfiction filmmaker, your number one job is to listen and observe and know when to interject, when to ask the right question, when to do what you need to do. And with Sandra, with Jay's dad, his name is Wilford. Um, you just listen, you just let them do their thing for hours. Like
Yeah.
Sanders' interview was 3 hours long for
Was it?
yeah, for like an 11-minute film. I remember like going through the selects, and I'm just like, man, like we gotta hammer through this whole thing. It's like I don't even know how I'm gonna cut this thing down, but yeah, you let them do their art, man.
Mm.
Yeah. She she's battling cancer right now. She's doing really well. But of course, a woman of her age, it's always a struggle, but
Mm-hmm.
it's especially hard when you're an older person. And she's doing great. And she had not seen this film until I want to say, what was it, a couple weeks ago?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, that's what Julie said. Yeah.
yeah, Julie called me and she was like, "Hey, um, can you send me?" She has a link to the film, but it was before the film had been released. But she's like, "I'm with Sandra, I'm taking her to one of her doctors, because now Julie, of course she not only is she kind of like a de facto caretaker for Jonathan, but she loves Jonathan's mom
Yeah.
just as much. So Julie takes her to her doctor's appointments, and it's all just one. They're kind of just they all meld into like one family up there. Um,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
she showed her, and she didn't. I don't think she expected any of what she saw, and she was just like, this is a real thing you guys did. I didn't understand until now. So she was really, really surprised. She was really, really happy. I would love to talk to her. I haven't seen her since then.
Hmm.
And I'd love to speak to her now and after she's seen it, and hopefully I'm sure she's heard the great news about the Critics' Choice Awards, which we are still trying to process fully. Just because as bootstrapping, Hoosier filmmakers who, I'm not even 30, Sam's in his early 30s. We don't expect things like that to happen to kids like us. And just gratitude.
Yeah.
That's all I can say is just like eternally grateful for the opportunity to be a storyteller for a living. Kind of, we don't make money on stuff like this, and that's not the point. But we freelance, and that's how we pay our bills. But to be able to have access to the tools necessary to go and make these things, I guess. I mean, just gratitude for the subjects, gratitude in their willingness to trust us, and gratitude, yeah, for the Critics' Choice, for the voters for picking us. I mean, what an incredible honor. So
The
How are we
thing
doing on
that
time? Are we good on time, by the way, Joe? I know we're supposed to stop at 30. I just want to be cognizant, make sure we're good.
yeah, sorry,
no, no, no. I always joke that I was like, I have like a brain like scrambled eggs. Like I just go all over the place. So forgive me. I'm just so rambly, but I just don't know how to stop talking. But I wanted to say that, hearing you say about her seeing the movie, it's just that I'm sure she's aware of how obviously the community loves her son, but to maybe like seeing it and like even just like there's a point in the movie where he's walking down the street during the parade and you hear somebody say like thank you Superman or hello Superman, something about that I even thought the first time that I watched it that I was like, if I was a mom and going everything that she went through with her son, and just to hear that little exchange has to be, I don't know, I don't say, I don't know, it's just really gratifying. I don't know. I imagine how she would feel just seeing that one tiny little moment.
Yeah,
Um,
and she's Jonathan's been in the parade for decades, and she's
yeah,
seen him in the parade. Thankfully, I'm sure she's probably seen him do it multiple times for years, but she wanted to go that day. It was an extremely hot 4th of July. It just wasn't healthy for her to be there, so she
yeah,
didn't. Um, I appreciate her willingness to try because, as a documentarian, that's like amazing.
yeah,
You could have seen that and just to capture the reaction, as Jonathan, you know, uh, passes her. But it's like a 2 mile parade route. That was the first year they'd done that route. And I just want to put that out there. I sprinted, chased Jonathan the entire time wearing an
yeah.
easy rig camera, and he is incredibly fast. He is
uh,
that cape. The cape works,
the cape
man.
gives you good,
But
gives you good, no wind resisting with that cape.
yeah,
Yeah,
he is. I mean, the firsthand experience, like you see it and you hear it audibly and visually, but firsthand, it's extremely emotional because you get to witness like just like it's like a wave, and it just
mm,
keeps going down the crowd as Jonathan, passes each step. It just like the yells and the hollers for him, for Jonathan. And he since COVID he does the elbow
yeah,
tap, see it in the film. And a lot of kids want to high five, but they don't understand, you know.
Mm.
So, you know, I'm like talking to kids afterwards, you know, as I'm trying to chase Jonathan. I'm like, he does the elbow, he does the elbow. But it's very, very surreal. I mean,
Yeah.
just you see, you know, people coming up to him at the fireworks, and the two kids and the dad, the shot of them taking their photo with
Oh yeah.
Jonathan. I spoke to the dad a little bit afterwards, and he was like, I have a photo of my kids with Jonathan every year since their first
Oh
4th of July. And, you know, that he's so special to so many people.
yeah.
And it was just so apparent. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I used to, I haven't seen the film in a long time, but you know, when we first finished this thing, I obsessively watched it because I really liked it. I
Yeah.
mean, as a filmmaker, I hope that's every filmmaker's goal, is like, you know, you want other people to like it, but you also want to like it. And I really, really loved it, and I still do.
Hmm.
But I haven't seen it in a long time, and I'm kind of waiting for the right moment to watch it again. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I guess just one last thing before I let you guys go. This isn't really a question, it's more of just a comment that when I did feel a lot of anger towards, when we get to the section where we hear about how the person who owns the building that Jonathan lived in just like jacked up the rent. And I feel like we were hearing more about that, about how people don't care about the people that live in their buildings. And I think, the way that the film leans away from becoming so depressing about that could have been like a really dark, like, we understand the circumstances, that is very much comes through very loud and clear. And I don't know, it's just that there is sort of a hopeful quality that it was, and that's even before that we realize, when we hear about all the money coming in and things like that I don't know, there's something about that I can't even really describe, watching that and feeling that's not really articulated very well. But it's, I don't know, it's something, the way that you guys handle that section, I think is really delicate and wonderful. I just wanted to say that, that's all.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
That's yeah, I would say, honestly, I feel like by the sheer nature of just having the practice and the repetitions of kind of telling these kind of stories that have the fragility and the delicate subject matter,
Mm-hmm.
that we're fortunate enough to just hopefully improve and get better at that every time. For 5 years following four farm families for half a decade, talk about mental health and suicide, you kind of get that quasi, training of how, what it's like to be obviously, like, it's so funny. Like, a lot of the farmers always say, like, you're like a quasi therapist, if you will, the way you
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
communicate, the way you listen, the way you kind of digest some of this information. And any filmmaker I imagine you speak to probably alludes to a very similar sentiment. So I know I'm probably beating the same drum, but yeah, I mean, I feel like you just have to be able to, like, listen so well and tastefully know when to really balance that line of what's enough, what's too
Yeah.
much, what's needed for the story, and then what comes off is almost like it's just not necessary. So I think with Jonathan, with Jonathan's story in particular, some of those elements felt so visual and very specific about, the catching his pants on fire with a lighter,
Yeah.
the pencil marks and the blue marks on his back. Like, those two specific moments just felt very elemental to, like, include, just because, like, it's important to his journey, to Sandra's journey as a mother, and the kind
Mm-hmm.
of things that she had to deal with. And that's one thing too, like, obviously, like, when you make a film, it's like you somebody can just get on camera and say, like, my life was bad, my life was hard, Jonathan got bullied. But to have the specific parts that really talk about that, really help paint a picture and give you a small sample size into, the pain that he endured and what drives him to this day to bring joy to that town for the last nearly 35 plus years. So
Hmm.
I just felt like it was just really important to
Yeah.
tell it honestly.
Hmm. All right. Well, thank you for letting me ramble at you.
Thank you for
Um,
letting me ramble back.
Thank you for your time.
no, of course. There's an
Yeah.
image of him with his back to the camera where the light is coming through the cape.
Yeah.
And I really, the first time I saw that, I said, I was like, move over, David Corn Sweat. Like, come on, let's go. Like, I don't know. It's just a really beautiful movie. You both handle it with such grace and dignity, and I don't know. I just think it's great. So congratulations on the Critics' Choice win again, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. That you have no idea how much it means to us that people care and
Yeah.
that people loved it. Sam called it the other day. We referred to it as our little film that could.
Hmm.
And I love that. I'm running with that. It's a good one, Sam,
Yeah.
because it truly is. And to anybody out there who's a young filmmaker, thinking that they don't have a place in this space, uh, you do, you can. Storytelling is, it's not something that everybody is cut out for, but um, if my biggest word of advice is just story first.
Yeah.
Sam is so good at storytelling and finding stories, and he always, every time I brought up this film and how bad we needed to make it, he was always such a huge proponent of us doing it.
Yeah.
He knows when something's good and worth doing, and yeah, just anybody out there that's just thinking about it, like, you don't have to have a plan. You don't have to have notes on paper. You don't have to just, if you can find a camera and, maybe get lucky and get some lights and just go find the story you want to tell. And, there's a lot of
Mhm.
them out there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes me feel good as we end, even just you saying that. So great. You're doing more of good, effective stuff as we leave.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. I guess that's it.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
All
Yeah.
right.
When do you have an idea of when this going to come out first, or will the review come out first? Which one's coming out
The
first?
the review is coming out tomorrow.
Oh, sweet. Okay. And
This will probably, I don't have a solid date for it yet, but I think I want to get everything up by the end of November, so there's still a little time between, because I think voting begins on the 8th
yep.
of December, so I don't want to post anything really in December unless I have to. So there's like time for people to like read and watch stuff, and then yeah, does that
Cool.
make sense?
And then do you guys do like cross collab posts and stuff? I saw you guys did that with Rat Rod too. I didn't know if you do that. We could maybe do it with you guys too if you want.
Well, I think they just like tagged me in something, and like, or like I did a review, or I posted an interview yesterday, and when the director, I think, took I think they just asked me to be a collaborator on Instagram, and I just accepted and shared and whatever. Yeah, whatever you guys
Okay.
need.
Cool. We might do that with you then too. If
Yeah,
that's
sure.
awesome.
Whatever you need.
Cool.
All right,
Well,
cool.
thank you so
All right.
much. Look out for the review tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Seriously, thanks so much for having us. This is all new for me. Sam's done a lot of speaking engagements. He's really good at it, but I'm still learning.
Yeah.
So
That was great. All good.
thanks for
All right,
bearing
guys.
with me.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Peter.
Of course. Have a good rest
Thank
of
you
your day, guys.
both.
All right.
Later, Joey.
Bye. Yeah.